I'm Aaron Lupo, and this is Red Wolf Audio. In this video, I want to start talking about the process of mixing, the art and science, and how I approach it when I'm recording, when I'm composing, or when I'm simply starting out mixing a new track. We're going to start with a rough piece of music that I recorded. Nothing's been done to it other than I've recorded the tracks, recorded the parts, and everything's kind of laid out, but nothing has been balanced. So that's what we're going to tackle in this video, is starting to get a process together, balancing out the tracks in the project. So let's get started. Here we have a demo track that I recorded. It's just a short piece of instrumental music, and it includes an acoustic guitar, bass, Hammond organ, 3 different electric guitar tracks depending on what kind of tone we want, from clean to crunch to lead, and of course drums. So just threw this together, and again, everything is unbalanced, so let's take a listen to it real quick. Okay. I think you'll probably get the idea here. It's really rough. Everything's way out of whack. Now that the organs come in, you can barely hear the drums. Organ's way too in front. There's still acoustic guitar somewhere back there. There's drums in there, you can hear them, but the organ is obviously way, way, way out in front. So that's the beginning section, and things really only get worse from there as we move into the more cluttered sections here. And even worse further on the track. It's just a mess. So what I'm about to go over is the way that I think through the process of balancing out the tracks within the project. I usually do this on an ongoing basis as I'm writing, because I write in the DAW. A lot of writers, they'll write with an instrument elsewhere, they'll come to the DAW to record. My preference is to write within the DAW. It helps me be creative, it helps me be in the moment with all the instrumentation that I want, and find a sound. So let's start out, let's get into this. So what I will do, and I brought the master fader down a little bit because I knew it would be pretty loud, especially that organ, once the track started up. So we're gonna bring everything down. And I'll do this usually when I'm writing. I'll do this. I'll write the guitar part. I might write a bass part. I might do a piano or an organ, and then I'll do drums. So I'll lay out the basis of the song using instruments that I feel kind of form the core of the song. But when I get to drums, I lay the drum parts out, and then I stop. And this is the exercise that I go through that I'm about to show you. So we'll start with drums here. And we're going to get into kind of a louder part of the drum, probably right here. Yeah, right around 132, I think, is where we're 133. I'm going to pick myself a loop here of drums that sound kind of the most intense, and looking like there's quite a bit going on here. So I'm bringing this up. Whoops, just the one track, please. So there's our drum part. And what I'll typically do is I'll bring the drums up just as a level set for myself to about -10 dB on the master. So that's where I'll look for the peak, -10, -9, right about there. So leaving myself some space to fill in the blanks here. And this is actually a good passage to use, because then you can hear all the drum parts. You can hear the kick, the snare, the cymbals, remembering that we haven't done anything to color any of it. We have no compression, no EQ, no filters, nothing going on there. So this is dry drums, and that's what we're going for right now. Because the whole point of this is to balance out the track as a whole and get an idea of where everything is sitting. So the next thing I'll bring in is the bass, or bass guitar in this case. We'll slide this up. What I like to do is I'll bring it up to the point where the bass is clear in my ears, but you can still hear the kick. Again, we've done nothing with EQ, nothing with compression, anything like that. So we're going to be working against masking issues for a little while just to get a balanced track, but we can still get a pretty decent sounding track without any of those things. So I still have the kick fairly clear. I like it right about here. The next thing I'm gonna do that was taught to me by an engineer friend of mine is we're actually gonna bring everything else in mono. We're using some patches here that are creating a stereo field. The Hammond organ is one where it is in stereos, but in order to get a balance, I like to start in mono. So I'm gonna flip this over to mono. And the drums, everything's down the center now. We still have the clarity in the bass, in the kick, and the bass guitar, so we're good there. The next thing I want to bring in that needs to be present in the mix is that acoustic guitar. So I'll bring it up to the point where I feel like it's well represented in mono, but it's still not masking, it's not covering over any of the other parts. I'm going to do the same thing moving through the different instruments. The next thing I want to do is handle that organ. So let's bring the organ in. You can see I'm still listening for specifically the kick. There it is. I've got a good present acoustic guitar. I've got a good present bass guitar. I can still hear the important components of the drum set. It looks like we're working with those crunchy and lead guitars, so we'll bring those in. We got some in the lead. Everything is still sounds like it's pretty well represented in the mix. The last thing that we're missing there is that electric guitar, that clean electric guitar tone. So we got to move back in the track a little bit. So we're going to move back a section here to capture that last little bit here. So let's get that clean electric guitar. I don't want it to overshadow the acoustic guitar, but I want to know that it's there. What's this? Yeah. I want it to complement the acoustic, but not overshadow it. So now we have a mono mix, right? We're right down the middle. So what should happen is when we take off the mono, we set it back to stereo, everything should kind of bloom, should open up and have a nice vibe to it. Like that. Yeah. Not bad. So we have, it's pretty balanced. I still definitely have the presence of the kick drum. I have a bass guitar that's sitting, playing nicely with the kick drum. I have a very present acoustic guitar, an organ that is laying kind of a foundation. It's not overpowering, it's not over-present. The electric guitar is adding color, but it's not overpowering the acoustic guitar. Pretty good. Now let's see what happens when we transition from one section to another. I'm going to turn off our loop. I'm going to move forward into a bigger part, heavier guitar, and a solo. So let's see what happens. Here we go. Use a little more of that. So that's it. That's how I balance a mix. And I'll do that, like I said, as I'm going, as I'm writing, as I drop in all the new instruments past the drums. The drums are always my starting point. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below in the comments section. And if you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe to the channel. Appreciate it. Take care.